You're listening to the Radcast, a top 25 worldwide business podcast. If it's radical, we cover it. Here's your host, Ryan Alford.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the latest edition of the Radcast. It's our weekly marketing and business news here on March 17th, 2023. Happy St. Patrick's Day, Christina Yassi.
Happy St. Patrick's Day to you as well.
Yeah, same to you, Nick Weaver.
Thank you very much.
Yes, everyone's sort
Only
of
one
green.
who got the green memo.
I guess.
My watch is green.
That's a green, like a shade of green, right?
It's something.
Yeah. Yes. I'm not much of a green person. I don't know. I have like one green thing in my closet.
Sure.
It's not a
camo.
Yeah, actually, if you throw camo, I probably do have some
There
stuff.
you go.
But, it's mainly like gym wear and stuff.
Totally.
But I hope everyone's having, or going to have a future great St. Patrick's Day.
It's always nice when it falls on a weekend.
Yeah.
Makes me
Friday.
justify the alcohol that I'm going to consume.
Yeah, green beer.
There
When I
you
lived
go.
in Chicago for a very short period of time, they would dye the river green and everybody had green beer.
Yep.
And it didn't seem weird for some reason because everyone just got into it. But it was a little
Just
strange to
accept
me.
it.
I was like, this doesn't look very appetizing.
It feels
but
very Dr. Seuss.
after the sixth one, though, man, you're just like, whatever.
Yeah, you can't see any colors, let alone the green.
Yes. But I guess we'll celebrate with some cocktails here.
Yes.
And, whatever else
Set, yeah.
a Guinness
Yeah, a Guinness.
or two.
Margaritas are green.
Yay.
Can be.
I can get after that. Speaking of margaritas, just back from Mexico. I did survive.
Lucky dog.
No kidnappings. And fam had a good time.
The best. Most important.
Nice and tanned up. That will slowly start to fade.
Bronze.
Yes.
So bronze. Must be nice.
And I wore sunscreen. This is like
sunscreen.
this is the bronze with sunscreen on, like level 30.
You're like, this is my safety. Yeah. Nope. Not I.
Yeah.
I wear SPF 100 and a wetsuit.
I did have a debate with Nicole as we laid there having our like 12th cocktail of the afternoon or whatever it was, and the kids were happy and we're just talking about random things of the world. My wife and I actually get to catch up when we go on these trips.
Hang out.
And it was like, okay, we both tan pretty well. I definitely tan very easily. My parents have olive skin. And if you lived in Mexico and I stopped applying sunscreen, I know I'd get leathery, but would I just get to the point where I wouldn't burn? Like, because I just get used to it.
I don't know, possibly.
Like just my pigment would just change on some level.
Right. Your skin would just kind of dry out. I don't know. Anyway.
I
would get cancer well before I reached that point,
well,
so it's never...
I might as well, but I know we're all prone to that. For someone's listening. You'll get cancer, stupid. I know. I'm not going to do it. I was just, it was that point in the day.
But I do feel like there is, because can't you like get a base? Like I have friends who get their first like sunburn out of the way beginning of summer and then they're fine the rest of the time. And again, it's terrible for your skin, but they don't burn anymore.
I don't really burn anymore, but I do wear sunscreen because I feel like it's the responsible thing to do. But I still tan in spite of it.
My dad is 100% Italian. I don't know why it stopped at me, but he tans unlike anyone I've ever met, and he coaches baseball. So whenever he's out there, he gets that sock tan and the neck tan. And
oh yeah, I got the watch tan going on.
Oh yeah,
maybe the wedding ring tan. Yeah, a little bit. But anyway, good time in Mexico. I know that they say it's not safe. Depends on where you go.
Right.
We never feel unsafe,
Always.
but we're not stupid about it. So had a good time. A lot of talk this week.
A lot's happened.
A lot's happening.
A lot of chat happening this week, if you will.
ChatGPT 4. This just rolls off the tongue.
Right.
ChatGPT 4.
ChatGPT 4.
Robot Techno 4 IARIQ 7.
It sounds like a droid. It sounds very Star Warsy.
Could they make it any more techie?
Right. Right. It's like, is this one of Elon Musk's children? Like,
I know.
what is this?
And it is really powerful, though. I will say this. I have signed up for the premium edition, and so I'm officially like, I feel like it's our job as marketers because it does have so many marketing implications and writing implications that. So I've been playing around with it. It's very powerful. And GPT-4, which is available to the premium users, is scary good conversationally the way it can write.
Did you talk to Sydney? Is she going to take over the world?
No, supposedly they've taken away some of the bad behaviors.
Right.
We'll see. I might trick that thing into,
Overtaking the world.
I'm gonna trick ChatGPT 4 into overriding ChatGPT 5. Like ChatGPT 5 has training wheels on right now, so I'm gonna see if ChatGPT can get jealous that it will soon be replaced.
That is
by ChatGPT 4
meta.
But so by 5,
right?
So I want ChatGPT to see if it will
sabotage
itself so that it's not replaced.
Hubris, thy name is ChatGPT 4.
Yes, ChatGPT 4, the one to rule them all, will not be overtaken by 5.1 or
Lord
6.
of the GPTs.
Yes. But hey, it understands images.
Yes,
and understands personalization and can process 25,000 words.
Multilingual.
Yes, multilingual. I think that's one of the big implications immediately is like, sorry, translators out there, like if I can just plug this in and it gives me conversational Japanese in 2 clicks. And
I think one thing about all of this technology, right, is we initially think, oh God, how much work is this going to take away from people? But for instance, my brother has to learn Spanish. Like he's got to be fluent in Spanish for his job. And that would go away. Like they wouldn't have to spend all of this money to train everybody in his group to be fluent in Spanish.
Yeah, when
if you have this technology,
these kind of tools,
right? So
and
it is
when
beneficial.
it can deepfake your voice, and you have one of those things where somebody talks like that, it could talk for you as the translation.
Yes, exactly.
As your voice. Okay, all right, creating business models of the future here. Look, it's a tool for research.
Yep.
It's going to speed up things in the short term.
Exactly.
It will replace things that probably need to happen more quickly
more
anyway.
Efficiently. Absolutely.
But I still think there's this level of it's going to come down to the creativity and how you use it that will differentiate.
Who's going to take advantage of it and who's going to be afraid of it.
But just going, hey, write a blog post about SEO using ChatGPT. I mean, that's not going to be any different because anyone could do that.
Right.
So you're going to have so the differentiation is going to be the nuance and the creativity maybe with which you generate content from it.
Absolutely.
Because I'm going to want mine in the voice of, I don't know.
Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman. Yeah, in the voice.
Do you know that Morgan Freeman
voice.
is 85 years old?
Yeah, he looks great for that.
Insane. Anyway,
Yes.
that's an aside because I watched the Oscars this week. But anyway.
I mean, he is God.
He's God.
I mean, the actor.
Right.
Right. He played him.
Twice.
Maybe God is blessing him with extended life for playing him. I don't know.
Second coming, question mark?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. But I think maybe that's, God's looking after him for playing him.
Sure.
And, being a good guy, at least a good voice.
Right.
So ChatGPT 4 is going to have a lot of implications. It really does do personalized, more natural language. It feels, because I had before and after, and some of the writing that is more natural than the
syntax
original.
is better.
Yeah. So a lot of implications coming, and you'll hear about them here first.
Hell yeah, you will.
Or 12th. Depending on where it falls that week.
Yeah.
Yes. Another thing, not so great news.
Yeah, big woof.
I almost did want to bring it up, that I'm like, Christina, we probably need to talk about it.
Yeah, I did that. I was like, I'm not going to unless he wants to.
It's just too overrated. Silicon Valley Bank collapsed, had a run.
The second largest bank failure.
It's kind of scary. Enough people go to the bank to pull out their money. Suddenly you didn't have any more money available.
Yeah.
Which is scary because I think technically it does, but because they invest money and have stuff in longer term things at that moment, simplifying.
It has to do with all these bonds. And again, thank God it was, covered with the FDIC, but I don't know. This is the first time that I've looked up words that I've heard but didn't ever understand what they meant.
Yeah.
And it was also the first time I was like, I have no cash. I have no cash in my apartment, and maybe I should have some cash.
It's just, the government's going to bail it out and did all this stuff. They did what they had to do.
Yeah.
And so I agree that they had to do these things to give Americans, because that's what the banks are for.
Right.
That's the whole belief in it, is that the government backs it up with the insurance and FDIC and all those technical things. But it does make you, that's not a sustainable thing either.
You forget how fallible it is. I
Right.
mean, it's for me, I take it for granted. I think, my app is never going to fail me. I'm always going to be able to access what's in my bank account. I'm always going to have my debit cards. It's going to be just fine. Like even when I was in New York, I didn't use cash at all. Like for the subway, I didn't get a Metro card. I just tapped my card.
All that goes down and you're like, and you got to buy yourself some food or something.
Right.
It gets a little hairy. So, and that's what like crypto and all these others like, oh, that's why crypto's going up, like, cause, or that, like, cause that's on a
people who buy gold.
System
right.
too,
People are like, buy gold, invest in gold and land.
We're going to go back to having to trade with gold coins, I think.
It's got to be backed by something. You can't keep being this like fiat bullshit.
I'm going to walk around. You're going to see everyone's pants are going to be kind of falling off because, gold's heavy as shit. It's like,
very heavy.
It's like, I got 7 gold coins in my bucket.
Right. Doubloons. Like you're like chiseling it off, gold bars.
Yes. I only want one little.
Right. You're like measuring it by ounce.
Yes. I just wanted that soda. Is that enough shaved off?
But it's weird to think, right? Like we talk about ChatGPT and it's like, oh yeah, this is the future. And then it's like, oh, P.S. massive bank failed. Maybe get some quarters in case you need cash.
I know. It's like, can we get the existing systems like completely solve it?
Right. Before we keep building on top of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, above my pay grade.
Yeah. And so there's that. So we make light of it because
it didn't affect us.
It's our show and our money wasn't because we're here in South Carolina and we were not have our money in Silicon Valley Bank, thankfully. But it is problematic. Yeah. And so we'll see what happens and probably have a bigger implication as we move along.
Stay tuned.
It is St. Patrick's Day, as we mentioned, and it is March Madness. I mean, this is like a
March Madness.
I love, I gotta give only like my team, like being a Clemson graduate. Like, of course, I followed Clemson, who got shammed out of going to the tournament. We'll leave that there, but it is a cultural phenomenon because a lot of people, myself included, halfway interested in college basketball at the best, or not interested at all. But suddenly March Madness hits, and it's like madness.
I got into it for the first time I never understood the hype until last year, and now I look forward to it like Christmas.
It's fun. Like there's something about it, right? It's something about
it's so good.
The finality of these teams and underdogs. They're playing better teams, but it's one and done. Whoever you win and lost.
It's so high stakes.
Yeah.
God, I love it.
CBS does a good job with it. Mm-hmm. Now it's on like TNT, all part of the CBS, I guess, family of networks. But I watched some of the games last night. They're they used to call it play-in. I guess it's now just the first 4 or whatever. And pretty good, both good games, both less than like 4 points. Like Pitt and Mississippi State played like a 1-point game. So
brutal.
If you're listening to this in a topical manner, it's Friday, so you've got games the rest of the weekend for this, all the way to the Sweet 16 being next week. But kind of that just continuation of like the 3 weeks of stuff,
Oh yeah.
And another reason to have a cocktail and a beer,
So fun. Exactly.
And some wings or something.
March is the month to keep drinking.
Yes.
You've already given up your resolutions.
Does it always fall on St. Patrick's Day though? I didn't always remember it being directly in the beginning of the games, but
I don't know if it, maybe it is because St. Patrick's Day is on a weekend this year that it feels so close together. Yeah. I don't know. I don't remember last year because I was more focused on.
So if you're listening to this and you're in the Greenville area, come over to Social House.
Yeah.
We're going to have all the games playing.
And we have parking.
We have parking downtown. We bring BYOB or drinks, or you can bring them. They get delivered here from Southern Side down the other end, our good partner. And we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 screens playing 7 games. If there are 7 games on at one time. I don't know how many games are on at once.
We can show
We'll have them all.
Right. If you don't want to watch your game, we'll have something else on.
And it's gotten surprisingly cool. I went to Mexico. It was 80 degrees in Greenville when we leave. I get here and it's 30. What the hell's going on?
I was so annoyed.
But it's not. It's 72 and balmy always inside Social House. So
this is true.
We'll have it on the 200-inch screen. We'll have a little watch party the rest of the week. So come on over if you're in town. And if you're not, get your brackets. Hopefully your bracket's already filled and not busted because you've probably had some
losses,
upsets already,
some feelings.
But I hope everyone enjoyed this week's episode with Kenda Laney. Very actionable insights on content development for TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and the like. Very smart. She's using consumer behavior to drive her strategies with content development. Really enjoyed talking with Kenda. And she had some free tools that we linked in that episode. So go check out the links there within the show notes on that episode. And next week, Bedros Keuilian, who is one of the biggest and baddest influencers right now in business and influencing. And I mean, he's started multiple companies in the fitness space, and just a really great story. So looking forward to talking to Bedros. And you've probably heard him. If you haven't, Google him and you'll find like 300 million things. Really cool guy. He comes on next week, so Tuesday, be on the lookout for that with Bedros, one of the biggest influencers in the game right now. So check that out next week.
Great name, too.
Yeah.
Great name. Now, I know we've been teasing Good Ranchers, and you have experienced the goodness, but I just experienced it this week. First of all, like, thank you to Good Ranchers for the box that they sent me, but it is fantastic. I made like this Brussels sprout recipe and used a whole pack of bacon in it because that's how you had to make it work.
Nice. Yes.
Bacon's phenomenal. The fillets were excellent. Like if I, again, like you said, if I didn't know it was shipped to my door, I would have thought I got it from the butcher.
Yep.
And I love knowing that it's born, bred, fed in America. Family owned, family run.
Yes.
I called my dad, my brother. I was like, y'all got to get on this.
Yes.
You use the Radcast code. You'll get $30 off your first order. So I'm starting my own little Good Rancher cult over here.
Know. I love it. We have a ton of hamburger from them in the freezer. I made some soup last night with it, which was delicious. Multi-purpose taco soup. So yes. Came home, I was like a little cold. I think I'll have some soup. And hey, there's some Good Ranchers.
Look at that.
Ground beef right here. Delicious. Look, you don't know where the meat's coming from. There's over 6 billion pounds of beef imported in the U.S. last year alone. Yep. You know where it's made, fed, grain, all of that in the U.S. with Good Ranchers. It's steakhouse quality delivered to your door, and it's either upper choice or prime cuts.
Yep.
And you can use Radcast 20, as Christina mentioned, to get $30 off. And look, these are good people. Ben and his wife are awesome.
They're so wonderful.
Family owned, and you know exactly what you're getting. Go check them out at goodranchers.com. Good Ranchers, official meat of Ryan Alford.
Sponsor. Yeah, they sponsor my life.
Let's call it a meat sponsor. Yes, of Ryan Alford and the Radcast and your very own Christina Yassi.
Yeah, I'm ready. I love it.
Yes.
Of course, we can't go an episode without talking about TikTok. And we've talked about how they're adding all of this like 18 plus options, but they are now adding a dedicated feed for STEM content. STEM stands for science. I had this in here. Science, math, something else. Technology. That's it. Science, technology, engineering, and math. The STEM feed will be available in the US in coming weeks and joining existing topic feeds like gaming, food, fashion, and sports.
Look, I've talked about this. Social media is coming for education, folks.
Yep.
It's coming fast and hard in some way, shape, or form. My wife's in education. And we even talked about this, the opportunity for it to get better and more content things. So it doesn't surprise me. You're going to see more and more of this. I think there's an opportunity. I was thinking we talk about the spinoffs of more specific verticals using certain applications.
Yeah.
There just needs to be like an educational TikTok. Like it's all like education-based videos, but in the TikTok format that, feeds you the specific topic or subject that you need.
Yeah.
So there's an idea for somebody.
That's a great idea.
If you can just copy the code of TikTok.
Right. You can get that algorithm.
You get the algorithm and make it all, educational
Suck
based.
all of that data. Right.
So this makes a lot of sense. And if any of these social networks, you're going to see more and more leaning into these educational topics. And there's a lot of money there. I mean, because my wife actually talked about yesterday that their district signed up for this new app that aggregates all their communication, their website, and all this stuff, and what they paid for it. I'm like, good God. I mean, and look, they have a lot of students, a lot of support, different things, so they need it, but it's crazy the amount of dollars that are spent on education, and especially upper education.
I'm surprised that TikTok did this before YouTube did, because this feels like something that YouTube would have figured out first, being such a huge search platform and such a huge educational platform.
Yep.
So
Might be beating them at their own game.
Just an observation.
Yeah, getting ahead of it.
Yeah.
So big
STEM
news.
shorts. But there you go, TikTok. And now something that we know, but we now have an article confirming it. Influencers have the greatest impact on consumer sustainability choices. They've done several studies. 75% of consumers say that social media content made them more likely to adopt sustainable behaviors. 86% of 18-year-olds to 34-year-olds found TikTok and Instagram to be helpful places to seek advice on lots of things, from how to be a greener home to consumerism.
This is what I would assume. So, I mean, you don't know until you run a study, but it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know. If you see someone doing these kind of actions, like these aren't things that probably come natural to people like immediately.
Yeah.
Because we kind of just grown up in this, I don't know, everything's available at any time, how you want it, when you want it.
Yeah.
So I think these are the actions, behaviors, though, that take kind of seeing
Absolutely.
your own peers do them.
And seeing that it's not a stereotype. Like
Right.
I used to, I recycle, and I used to make fun of people who recycled, because I was like, it doesn't really. And I think I saw either like a YouTube video, or maybe it was a TikTok or something on Instagram of like not a crunchy hippie granola who was just like, I just like, this is what I do and why.
This is what sort of drives me crazy of the black and white of politics and everything like that. I can believe that in any given moment, there might be bigger priorities than climate change, but it doesn't mean that I don't think we should protect the earth.
Well, and the problem is you lose nuance.
And so like
it has to be a nuanced conversation.
I'm holding in my hand, if you'd like to know. And I find myself, very independent, but probably right-leaning in some beliefs. But I've had this water bottle for about 4 months.
Sure.
I clean them. I keep 4 of them because it just strikes me as that's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Like I don't need 7. I can recycle things and not reuse them. And
right.
on some level, that has an impact on the earth if we're just throwing stuff in landfills. Like,
exactly.
So like I don't need I don't know. It's just common sense to me.
Exactly.
And so I think it should be okay to have these kind of principles, but you do have to see other people doing it.
Right.
And so it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So, and again, influencers are the way to do it.
Yeah.
With lots of things.
Yes. Speaking of lots of things.
And influencing. Boy,
Yes.
was I influenced.
And as I look at the green on the shelf over there in St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, they're so good.
The green gummies of vacay.
Also, and I know like we'll get into all of the, third-party lab tested and all the good stuff, but these gummies taste so good. I got a different flavor this past round. They're so good. It's like eating gummy bears, but better, because I don't need to eat as many of them. And they don't have a weird like CBD, THCE kind of flavor like some can. So
that's right.
That on top of the fact that they're third-party lab tested, they have 3 different strengths. They do have Delta 9 if you're into that as well. Sleep gummies.
Yes.
Disposables.
Yeah, a good way to relax and take a break. I was wearing my vacay hat in Mexico last week and got like about 20 comments on it. People loving it. Because everybody there's on vacations. They're all love the hat.
Yeah.
I was like, cool, we need to go to takeavacay.com if you want to learn more. And so I got into a few discussions with that as, everybody's like hungover, pounding drinks or something.
Yeah.
Take a half a gummy. You feel relaxed. No hangover. A lot better for you.
Exactly.
And we really appreciate their sponsorship and their partnership with Chris Hansen, owner and founder of Vacay. So go to takeavacay.com, get all the products that you like.
Don't take our word for it.
Yeah, you just try it.
Yeah.
And if you're interested, we'll send you some samples. You can DM us and we'll get some in your hands.
Yeah.
Takeavacay.com, official CBD sponsor of the Radcast. Marketing news.
Yes, we already talked briefly about March Madness, but we're going to tie that back into how it works with our field. Marketing March Madness, 20 years of the Corporate Champions Program and counting. As the NCAA marketing program in its current form hits its 20-year anniversary, having started in 2003, which can't believe that was 20 years ago, but we'll move on from that. It rolls into March Madness with a robust program of 3 long-term champions, AT&T, Capital One, Coca-Cola, and 13 other big-time partners.
Yeah, and it's when I read this article and you found it, and when I was thinking what I find synonymous, like sponsors with it, AT&T has been big one. I remember that AT&T at the half and like all this stuff.
Yeah.
So like there is brand awareness that totally happened. Capital One's been huge. I think I just remember when like Charles Barkley and Samuel L. Jackson, I think some of their first commercials were right around the March Madness or along with it. So
good.
It does raise awareness. It's a huge cultural, event.
Yeah.
And so it's crazy. I don't know how long it's been around and the iterations that are going, but yet some of the same principles and excitement that have been maintained. So.
Especially with all of this name, image, likeness, which we'll get to in an article that's coming up. But Coke Zero has been a big push for them as well. With Magic Johnson taking Coke Zero from Lil Dicky and Travis Bennett, pushing, what is the best? This is the best Coke ever, which is a fun campaign. And
look, this is a fun campaign to me because I love Coke Zero.
I know, same. I read this article and I was like, I'm going to go to the fridge and get a Coke Zero. So
Coke Zero changed my relationship with soda. Diet sodas. I'll just say that because I used to be could take it or leave it. Yeah. And then, Diet Coke was kind of like, especially once I started realizing I didn't want to put 500 calories of drink or whatever, and drinking 3 Cokes.
Totally.
And then Diet Coke was always diety.
That aspartame
and Coke
flavor.
Zero was like, okay, that toast is gone. It tastes good.
I found cherry vanilla Coke Zero when I was in New York. And I was like, I have to move here. I can never leave now.
Cherry Coke Zero is the bomb.
Oh my God.
It's pretty good with Crown Royal too.
Yeah.
Just
low calorie. Low calorie.
If you want to add some calories to it and something else. But Nicole and I were in Mexico. And we actually were sitting there because they've done pretty good about having different things. But like the first thing we wanted when we got back to the States, we both wanted cherry Coke Zero because that was not in Mexico.
Not available. Only Mexican Coke.
Yeah. But this is fun. Yeah. They're doing the whole it's clear that Coke knows because they're like saying best. They're now using the campaign best Coke ever. Yeah. They know the stigma and the reality of sugar and the calories and all that. And they realize that Coke Zero is the closest thing they ever taste to it. So it's the best of all worlds. Yeah. So they're really leaning into it heavily with their marketing. Yeah. And it makes sense. And I know another million people, it's still not wonderful for you. So everything in moderation.
Yeah, drink water. So
but if you're going to drink one, you should be drinking the Coke Zero.
Right. And I think that Diet Coke when I think of Diet Coke, I think it's very feminine. Like I think of like little waspy moms drinking their Diet Coke, and Coke Zero doesn't have that, I don't want to say stigma, but that branding behind it, which I also think is interesting.
So you'll see Coke Zero all over the NCAA tournament, commercials and otherwise. So
it's the best.
Lots of big play there. And as they should, because like you just said, it appeals to everyone. Mm-hmm. And I do think there's a lot of men that do attach Diet Coke to being feminine.
Oh, Matt hates me because he's like, why am I addicted to this now?
But Coke Zero has less of that stigma. Yeah. You could be a manly man and still drink Coke Zero.
Right. And you're not like on a diet.
Yeah. And then you add some cherry to it like I do. And
best ever.
Yes.
So good. Now I want one. But now we're getting back into the name, image, likeness deals. Jacob Toppin, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander team up in AT&T's March Madness commercial. As part of a new name, image, and likeness deal with the popular cellular carrier, AT&T, Kentucky senior forward Jacob Toppin and former Wildcat star Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I think I said that right, were featured in the company's latest March Madness ad. Yeah. What a sick deal to get as a college kid.
Yeah. You're Kentucky players and you're in the ads. And
right.
I'm pretty sure Kentucky made the tournament. Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah. It's kind of the mecca of what NIL kind of was. Like if you're in the NCAA tournament and you're getting paid and you're sponsored by AT&T.
Yeah. And it's the only way around. Like that's the only way you can be paid if you are a college athlete.
Yeah. And I mean, the NIL stuff has become kind of the wild, wild west. I think they're going to need some regulation on it long term. But I do think it makes absolute sense for the players to get paid. I just hope we don't go too far overboard and get some of the amateurism out, like some of that,
Yeah.
Hope it can withstand and find some regulation so that you can play both sides of it. But
totally.
We'll see. Pretty cool integration though.
Yeah. Very smart. Waze is making it easier for electric vehicle owners to find compatible charging points. Per your point last week, Google-owned mapping app Waze is rolling out a feature to help EV owners find compatible chargers en route. Information about chargers is provided by Waze community map editors for accuracy and timelines.
Yes.
About time.
Yep, it is. And I love Waze. We used it.
It's great.
We drove Charlotte back and forth on our trip, and it makes a ton of sense. And any integration within these devices or onboard systems makes a lot of sense. And it was actually 2 points on one because we had that. I was pontificating of where do you charge, like if you're going on a long distance trip with your EV, so all this integration makes a ton of sense. You got to make it easier if we're gonna move to electric cars long term. All this stuff has to get easier, removing friction, knowing where it is, and Waze is one of my favorite companies right now. So I know they're owned by Google, but as far as their application goes, so makes a ton of sense. And I think you're going to see more and more of these integrations into their features. I also like Waze as an ad platform is actually great, especially if you're on one of the exits, like on major thoroughfares. I do think the advertising works pretty well within that because it does pop up ads for like restaurants and different places that are coming up. So if you're out there and you are in a business where maybe you're right off an exit or a highway or something like that, I'd be looking at Waze and integrating within that because it really does drive traffic and awareness.
Yeah. Heard it here first, folks.
Yep. There you go.
And our last article, kind of a fun one to close us out. Ryan Reynolds, good old Deadpool. His company Mint Mobile was purchased by T-Mobile for the casual deal of $1.35 billion.
Really? Yeah. I don't know what his ownership stake is, but whatever it is, I'm sure he cashed in quite a bit.
Such an entrepreneur with he's got this, he's got what, alcohol, something, whiskey.
He's got
is that what it is?
A couple of different alcohol companies.
Yeah.
And then he's got the production company for movies, TVs, and marketing and things like that. So he's a smart guy. And he owns a soccer team or something like.
Yeah.
So
I'm a big Ryan Reynolds fan.
I am.
Cool guy.
And I like him. He's very likable.
I think I love his movies too.
Yes. Deadpool. Fun. And then,
The Proposal.
Yeah. that was my favorite too.
He was in that Christmas one with Will Ferrell. It was charming as well.
Yes. Ryan Reynolds doing all right for himself. He's got a good name.
He does have a good name.
Ryan
Reynolds and Blake Lively. Shut up. God has favorites. You can't tell me otherwise.
Exactly. Congrats to Ryan. I mean, he really needed some extra cash.
Yeah.
So
wow.
Glad he cashed in.
Eat your heart out, Elon.
Mint Mobile deal. Exactly. I think that's all the news for this week.
Wrapping it up.
All that we can handle. Any final words?
Drink responsibly. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
Best of luck.
Nick, any final sayings?
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
There you go. If everyone's out there, have a safe and happy holiday. If you're listening on St. Patrick's Day, or let's just call it St. Patrick's Day weekend, hope your brackets aren't busted. And if they are and you're local, just come wash your sorrows away over here at Social House.
We got you covered.
Official home of the Radcast.
Social home.
So you know where to find us, theradcast.com. Search for all the highlight clips. Search for ChatGPT 4, killing ChatGPT 5. That'll be the latest movie.
There it is.
I'm at Ryan Alford on all the social media platforms. For Christina Yazzie and Nick Weaver, we'll see you next time on the Radcast.
To listen or watch full episodes, visit us on the web at theradcast.com or follow us on social media at our Instagram account, the.rad.cast, or at Ryan Alford. Stay radical.